r/EntitledParents, episode 27. Sorry, a girl is better than your son. So first off, English is my first language, but I'm dyslexic, so my bad spelling happens. I do jiu-jitsu, a form of martial arts, where we do sparring, punching/kicking, grappling, like wrestling, and self-defense. I was big for my age, 5 feet 6 by grade 8, and dispute how I looked. Size 1. I was really heavy cause I was buff. Still buff, but I've got hips now, so not only was I significantly taller than all the other girls in my class, but outweighted them all as well. I was also really good moving up the belts quickly, and in the 2 years I had earned every youth belt, and was now on my junior black, which is the same as an adult orange. But I was still in the kids class, since I was only 13, late birthday. Well, a new kid joins. And he had been at a different gym before, and was 1 belt below me. So while I had a junior black, he had a junior brown. During our opening, the U line up to bow, based on belt rank, and the highest is the one that grades the teacher. I always changed at the gym, since I had drama club before, so when I first meet the new kid I was in street clothing. He started going on about how great he was etc. and could teach me some things. Though cool, he is from a different gym, so he must know different combos and stuff. I run down to the change room and get dressed and join the other kids in the line. He's at the head of the line and I step in front of him. I'm the highest belt, goes first. Me, yep. I'm a black and you're brown. So I go first. What, no? I'm supposed to be the highest. I shrugged and did the opening, like I was supposed to, cause I'm a keener and always want to be on the good side of my teachers. This happens for every class. Other roles of the highest belt are to get the gear out for others, help lead warm up, and be used when the teacher shows a new technique. I do it all, since I'm the highest belt. Now when it came to sparring and grappling, we often had odd numbers, so I would work with the teacher and he would show me new advanced stuff, because due to my size, when I complete I often went against people much older than me. Or I worked with new white belts and showed them the basics, as I could be trusted to go easy and also knew my stuff. This only made Deck angrier as I got special attention, which I 100% did. But I also went out of my way and came early or stayed late to practice, so my teachers knew I was serious and treated according. Skip ahead, and its grading was there and was going for his junior black. I was there to help and be the dummy for him to show his techniques on. After when he was leaving, he told me not to get used to being top belt, since now we would be the same. Little did he know. All the kids left and the adults came for their grading. I stayed. I was going for my adult green. What Ek did not know was that when I worked one-on-one with the teachers, I was learning stuff from the adult class. My goal was that by the time I hit high school I would move to the adult class, so I wanted to learn as much now. Belt presentation comes. And we line up and are all handed our belts. Ek gets his junior black. So now we have the same. A junior black is equal to an adult orange. Ek looked at me with a smirk, like he was going to be the new top dog. Then I got my adult green and the smirk was gone. That day his mom was there. I still remember what happened, cause I was so pissed that they treated me like crap due to a stupid reason. Teacher? How is it that she has a higher belt than my son? He's now a black belt. Is that not the best? Well, yes and no. In the kids class a junior black is the highest. But after that there are adult belts. And EntitledG 1997 is working on her adult belts. That's not right, this is a kids class. She can't do that. Yep. Unfortunately, due to her age she is too young for adult class, still she wants to learn. Well then teach my son, so they are the same. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is for him to have such a scrawny girl ahead of him? He is a man. You understand? No. I don't. Since you see, the highest ranking teacher her is actually a woman and the world gold medalists for grappling. She only does adult classes and has actually taken a special interest in EntitledG 1997. Eck, that's not fair. Boys are the strong ones. T, if you feel that way then I suggest you leave M, fine. But she better not be ahead of my son anymore. It's not right. And guess what? I wasn't. I got moved up to the adult class early. The highest ranked teacher was actually the smallest lady ever, but knew all of these crazy submission techniques, and taught me them since compared to the adults I was so small, think 30 plus old and all a minimum of 200 pounds, I learned more advanced skills that were only done in the adult classes. On the last Friday the adults would go out after and get drinks. No one from the kids class was invited and none of their own children came. But little G 1997 was right there having a coke while they drank beers. I was quickly adopted by the older guys, and when we went out they told the servers a crazy story about how we are actually all one big family, and each time the roles changes with me always being someone's daughter with kick, but teaching being my mom, so I never paid for my drinks or food. Eck caught wind that I was in the adults class and was now going to special events and trainings like what to do in a knife fight, and both he and his mom were pissed. When his mom demanded that Eck also join the adult class early they were told no and sorry. You said you did not want her standing before Eck in line. And in the adult Eck would be the last rank belt, so he'd be at the end anyways. I only saw Eck and his mom one other time. And that was at a tournament where I destroyed him. Entitled people with too much power vs a new girl. I'm uploading just too many posts about entitled people, but I've just encountered so many in my life that now I'm just kind of spamming the community. For today, this story is about why school teachers shouldn't have their kids at the same school. TL, Dr. Girl tries to escape from bullying, only to land into another bullies who were friends with the formers. Hello and welcome back to drama. Hope you enjoy the garbage hitting the fan. Backstory, I was a victim of bullying when I was a kid from right when I moved in my current city with my parents, since I was 3 years old. Being from another province that was hated in the actual province, people just left aside my parents and have never been kind to any of us. Fortunately they were able to find some trustworthy friends, which whom they still are friends with. Same exactly happened in the school I got in when I was 3 years old. Since kindergarten I had been left out for being an outsider and not being exactly skinny. I was just a bit over average, mind you. All kids had been growing up together as their parents were close friends or family, and they asked for their kids to be in the same class. When I was 9 I couldn't bear it more and told my parents I wanted to change schools after some things happened. I'll leave that to another post, and accepted. I didn't get luckier. Different schools, same exact garbage. But this time, it was worse. I got into a class at the start of the second last year of primary school, age 10, and tried to make some friends. I remember it as clearly as if it had been yesterday. Hey, that sop, the one that blank told me about. She's a total loser. I made 0 friends in that school. All my breaks consisted on quietly eating my sandwich in a spot at the stairs that were behind the school's playground. I always brought some stuff with me, being it either cards to play or books. Anyway, now let's analyze the bullies. The leader of them was what you'd call a Starbucks bimbo in process. She always showed off her power. Her mother was a teacher, *A&D*, secretly the headmaster's HM lover. I know this because one day I found them making out in my class after returning because I forgot a notebook. I didn't even enter, of course. She was always messing with me. She always threw my stuff to the ground, breaking it by stomping on it, always tried to throw my lunch into a puddle of dirty water next to the fountain, you know, those who have even unknown substances, /backquote, etc. She was always backed up by at least 2 of her friends, so while they grabbed me, she just took my things and messed them up while laughing. Sounds cliché, right? Yup, it's as cliché as it can sound, but this really happened. But one day, all heck broke loose. I'm not, and never was violent, but my father said next time they mess with you, hit them where it hurts. I went full berserker and moved hysterically as to not let this happen anymore and hit the girl with my elbow several times on the face. She, of course, had a bit of a bloody nose, nothing really bad, we were still kids, and I wasn't very strong, and that was enough for her to go run to her mother that was on the playground watching us. Yes. She always watched her girl doing those things to me. She never, absolutely never stopped it. She didn't even need to talk to her *MOMMYYYYYY*. The teacher, who I'll be calling Ep from now on, just walked up to me and *SLAPPED me Ep, what do you think you're doing? Are you *EFFING stupid, or what, you *MENTALLY slow kid? I, of course, began crying on the spot. One of my favorite books, the thing she tried to break, was lying on the ground on a puddle of water. I was hurt from being held strongly and from trying to free myself, and the teacher slapped the dump out Tammy. Ep, I'm bringing you to the headmaster. Let's see how you manage with the detention. You'll think twice again before touching my kid again, you foreign night lady with a communal UTERUS*. Indeed, I got a detention and had to give an apology to the girl. I didn't want to apologize, but the glare I received from Ep was enough for me to be afraid of not doing so. When I got home I told this to my parents. I'm not those kids who keep things to themselves, as I previously had been dealing with bullying. I learned that I shouldn't do that. My mother got really mad, as she was the first person I told this all about. My father was working at the time and took me and her things and went to the school. Ep had the nuts to say that I attacked her poor child as if I had rabies and went on to destroy her own book to blame her for bullying. The nerve. You should be ashamed of your kid, your horrible parents. Is this a common thing in your land? Because if it is, it should be look my mother had enough with her. With the deadliest glare I had ever seen her give, she told her I want the cameras. I'm so calling the cops right now. Now, the teacher's face went pale as well as X, that was there as well, and the HM's. Then it turned red with anger. Ep, now who the F do you think you're calling, you racist slur? You are a complete night lady if you think you have the right to call the cops on them. My poor kid did nothing wrong. Yours is just so *EFFINGDISGUSTING*. No one wants to get near her. Call them, come on, I dare you. My husband is a cop and will detain you for assaulting us and menacing us. My mother? More like my hero. She pulled out her phone. She had recorded *EVERYTHING*. Mom, now I think you should think twice. My mother got out of the school and called the cops. The school had cameras, so when the cops arrived, they went to check them. These mother *EFFERS* had deleted all records from the day, but were dumb enough to leave the rest. The investigation took almost all night, in which they listened to the recording and saw the things they did to me, even looking at Ep literally doing NOTHING*. Needless to say, Ep and HM were arrested for assault, negligence, child abandonment and child abuse. They got a fine, and I was told that if they ever approached me again they'd be put in jail. Years later, I saw this girl again. She dropped out of school and has been arrested for possession of drugs. Guess being the teacher's daughter isn't worth any more. /M demands I hand over my car keys for her baby. Hello, welcome to me. So, little context, I'm a huge Overwatch fangirl. I have a couple shirts, 2 hoodies, a couple keychains, and backpack hangers. A lot of my stuff is Reaper, the shadowy shotgunner. That is my favorite character ever. Well, into the story. Me, somewhere entitled Hoek, entitled kid. I went to my grocery store so I could get some groceries for my parents. As soon as I get out of the car, my little green alien box, Kaya Soul, a kid and his mother were standing outside. The kid's not much older than 7, maybe 6. The kid points at my car and gets all sort of excited. There's a bunch of backpack handguards on the rear view mirror and they're all Overwatch. The kid points, starting to talk to his mom quickly and getting really excited. I don't really care to notice, locking my car and turning to walk into the grocery store with my list set out. The kid tugs on my sleeve when I get up on the sidewalk. Me, can I help you, buddy? Eck, yeah, my mommy says I can have those figurines in the window. Can you get them for me? Me, I'm sorry, what? You hurt him. Open your car and get those figurines. Me, no. I paid for those, and the one at the top a friend gave me. Well, get them out. My kid really likes them, and he deserves them. Me, no. I have groceries to get, excuse me. I step to walk into the store, and the kid starts crying out crocodile tears. The mother huffs and grabs my arm. Well, give me your keys. I'll get them myself. Me, if you touch my car, I will call the cops. Let me go. She lets go, huffing and taking her kid. She walked away to her SUV, thankfully, and sped off. Peacefully shopped, thank God. Tries to adopt my dog. The setup, my wife is a county humane officer. So if you abuse your animals, she is the one who knocks on your door. In extreme cases she has to seize an abused animal or the owner surrenders it to her. Then her organization rehabs the animal to health and finds a new, loving family. Our town was having a family fun event in our local park. Craft vendors, bounce houses, local bands etc etc. My wife and her crew had a booth set up at the event trying to rehome several very nice puppers. We live about 2 blocks away, so around noon I walked over and took her lunch while taking our own dogs for a walk. We have a French bulldog and an Irish wolfhound. Both are unusual and very cute and always garner a lot of attention. While at my wife's booth, her co-workers were playing with our dogs. I took one of my favorite adoptable dogs for a walkabout so more people could see him. When I get back I take my dogs and get ready to head home. Suddenly a wild Karen appears and starts playing with my Frenchie. Asking questions and stuff. Not unusual. She says to her husband, let's think about it. I thought here we go and immediately started walking my dogs home. About an hour later wife called, in shock disbelief and fam come back and tell my wife, we would like to adopt the bulldog wife, we don't have a bulldog for adoption yes you do. I saw it here with a big dog wife, oh, that little Frenchie is my dog, my husband was just walking them and brought me lunch. Well this is an adoption booth and the dog was here. My daughter here has already bonded with that dog and I intend to adopt it. Wife, obviously you are not understanding, that was my dog. So you keep all the good dogs for yourself and adopt out the shit dogs? You are upsetting my daughter and I'm not leaving without her bulldog wife, you are causing a scene, please leave. Not without my bulldog, you bitch. My wife carries a police radio while working in case she gets a dispatch for an abuse call. She picks up her radio and calls for local PD at her booth. As for these events the town PD assign an officer to be there. Cop comes over, he knows her from her job as a humane officer. She tells him the story and crew escorts her hub and her now shrieking crotch goblin out of the park. Thinks it's my responsibility to shield her son from kissing and lies to security about me when I don't back down. A few years ago, I went to an amusement park with 2 of my polyamorous partners. It was very cute as you can imagine, but soon after lunch, we decided to split up and all go do some of the things we wanted to do on our own. I peck both my partners, one male, one female, on the lips and watch them head off. As I remain on the bench we had been sitting on and decide what I want to do, a woman, entitled Mom approaches me. She is holding the hand of a little boy of about 4 or 5 years old and #X200B. Would you mind not doing that around my son? Me, sorry, doing what? You know, what you *JUSG* did? Me, I'm really sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. After sighing, like I'm the biggest idiot in the world. You just kissed that boy and girl. Me, so. That's very confusing to my son. Me, I'm sorry. Another sigh. If he sees a boy kissing a boy, he'll be confused. And if he sees someone kissing more than one person, he'll be extra confused. I'm not the only one who thinks this, so just be more mindful of others next time. Me, if you don't want your son to be confused, then you should hide his eyes or something. My son shouldn't have to be *exposed* to your deviant lifestyle. Me getting up, okay lady, he's your kid, so if you see something you don't think he should see, don't let him see it. But don't interrupt my day, so give me a lecture on morality / she starts yelling as I walk away. I don't pay much attention to her until I feel a hand on my shoulder and turn around to see a security guard, SG, has stopped me. The woman is waiting nearby, being all smug and shit. SG, sir, we have received a complaint that you were exposing yourself on a bench. Me, I'm sorry. Is this from her? I point to MSG. I can't reveal the source of the complaint. Me, if it's from her, she saw me kiss my partner goodbye and decided I shouldn't be doing that in public. But I'm happy to come to the security office and prove it / at the security office. The footage is reviewed and shows what actually happened. I'm let go with an apology and SG turns around to give him a lecture about wasting the time of park employees and making false reports and #X200B, TL. Dr. M didn't like that I kissed my partners in public and lied to a security guard about what I was doing after I wouldn't back down to her. Entitled mom costs her cousin $4,000 in motorcycle repairs. I actually have an entitled cousin. Her name's not Karen and she doesn't have the hairstyle, but she does have the attitude. About 20 years ago, when I was barely an adult, yeah, I'm getting on in age now, but I still look young thankfully, she let her son play with my motorcycle while I was not at the house. It was an antique Kawasaki Z1 from the 70s that I had restored myself. The kid was 10 years old and not exactly very smart. This bike weighed 500 pounds and had custom paint and a handmade custom fairing. So what does the kid do? Pops the kickstand up and drops the bike. And the bike stayed on its side for hours till I got home. By the time I got home, the oil had gotten out of the clutch case and coated the pistons. This meant I had to tear the engine down, clean the pistons and cylinders, and buy brand new expensive gaskets for the cylinder head. On top of that, the battery was absolutely ruined because it wasn't an AGM battery. It wasn't an AGM battery because the bike wasn't intended to be used for off-road use where it could wind up on its side. The worst part of it, I had spent months designing, modeling and fabricating a replica of Craig Vetter's mystery ship fairing for the bike. The fiberglass had cracked from the weight of the bike and the hard drop. My cousin didn't seem to understand why leaving it on its side was catastrophic. Regarding the fairing, she said, "What's the big deal? It's a rickety old bike, just get a new plastic cover and it's good." I tried to explain to her that it was fiberglass, not plastic, and that now I have to spend weeks sculpting a whole new clay model to make a new fairing because the clay used to make the form for the old one was already resculpted to make something else. I tried to start the bike to show her that now it won't start, and she had seen it running earlier that day. Her response? "Well, if you made it yourself you can make a new one. It won't cost you anything since you do it yourself, and it won't start because it's so old. Get a new one. The new models look much better anyway." As if I wanted a Ninja or a Vulcan, or could afford them. Or could afford a brand new police edition of the KZ1000, the only bike from the Z1/KZ era still being made at the time. Yeah, I can make it myself, but time is money, and even back then my time was worth a lot of money. There was easily $2,400 worth of labor alone that went into making that fairing. Now I have to spend that much time all over again, and I can't even get started on it until I finish the replica Mad Maximum fairing for a friend's 77 Kawasaki KZ1000. That doesn't even cover the labor of painting it, nor the several $100s in materials, decals, and paint. The labor for cleaning the engine after the oil got everywhere it wasn't supposed to be on the inside was easily worth another $800 of labor, plus $200 for the new gasket. Also, another $150 for a new battery, because I used a high capacity battery, since the stator was upgraded to produce 20 amps at idle, bringing it more in line with Kawasaki's police motorcycles, since I was going to put a lot of fancy electronics on it. I had to custom make the upgraded stator too. Then she had the nerve to tell me that I ought to get a boyfriend so he can do these things for me, because a girl and girls shouldn't work on motorcycles, never mind ride them. Oh, and she considered herself to be a feminist back then. Yeah, so much for her feminism, telling other females to stick to classic gender roles. These days she's even more irritating about stuff like that. My cousin is persona non grata now, and she isn't allowed to attend any more family functions on my side of the family after the family found out how much money she cost me. All in all, her son messing around with my bike, and her encouraging him to do that cost me about $4,000, and that's before adjusting for inflation. If she had asked, I'd have let him sit on it, but only with my supervision. Instead, she had to go behind my back and ruin the bike in the process. And this, people, is why bikers have a reputation for violence when people touch their bikes. They put a lot of money and effort into their bikes, and it takes just one little oops to cost them that money and effort all over again. People don't go around touching other people's cars without permission. Why do they feel entitled to go touching and sitting on bikes, which are much more delicate, without permission? Calls after I gave her military son several discounts for more. I've worked customer service for a considerable while, and never quite had the Ep-style story until now. For reference, I'm the acting RGM of a Pizza Hut in my town. Pizza Hut is a franchise, so each store is more or less left to operate on its own devices, but our tools and systems are locked in by the parent company. With that out LF the way, here's the cost me/megabyte, military boy/m, entitled mom. So Megabyte placed an online order for roughly $80 of food, comes in to pick up, and we run our normal course, and he asks about a military discount. Now, we can't scan anything like that. The card reader is debt/credit/gift. Nothing else registers. So I tell him sadly no. But I can apply as many coupons as I can, and even direct him to our owner's number and the district manager, to speak with them about instating a military discount. The total cost he paid was a little over $50. Next morning at 9:30 I get an angry phone call to the store. I need to speak to a manager right now. Me, I'm the current on-shift manager, how can I help you? Oh sweetie, I hope you weren't the child there last night. Me, yes, I was the shift manager last night as well. How can I help you? Oh. So you're the disrespectful little boy that told my son you don't have a military discount. Me, yes ma'am. My store cannot apply a military discount. It's not an option within our systems. Everywhere else has military discounts. So you're telling me you and your establishment don't support our troops? My son is on leave from the Navy and only gets 1 week back home, and you made him pay $50 for some nasty wings. Me, ma'am, the cost of the order was originally $80. I was able to drop the price to $50 for your son and provided the direct line to speak with the proper people to establish a military discount. It's not physically possible for my store to apply one, so I cannot help you in that regard. But if there is anything I can help you with, I'd be glad to do so. I know you are not speaking to me like that. I'm a popular foodie all over social media, and I will make sure nobody eats at your establishment ever again. Me, yeah, so is there anything I can help you with? Click.